Next guest warns that it shouldn't be at the cost of gains that have been made there. Republican Senator Saxby Chambliss recently returned from visiting American forces in Afghanistan. He joined me today from Capitol Hill. Senator Chambliss, you heard the Defense Secretary today expressing frustration with the Afghan government for not signing the bilateral security agreement. How urgent is it that this gets done?
Well, certainly the BSA needs to progress to the point to where it's ready to be signed. It's very evident that Karzai is not going to sign the agreement, and that's kind of indicative of the very weak and poor leadership of Karzai over the last couple of years. Thank goodness that the responsible individuals who are running to replace Karzai have pretty much all indicated that they're going to sign it. He's acting like a child, and I think we just better expect that for the remainder of his term. So the frustration that the Secretary said that he's experiencing is pretty well true, I think, throughout the defense community and the world community.
The President has suggested that if this doesn't get signed, then all American forces will be pulled out of Afghanistan at the end of this year. That is sort of in line with what the American public would like. Polls overwhelmingly suggest Americans don't want to be in that war any longer. But you think it would be a risk?
Well, I think it would be a huge risk. It was a mistake for this president not to negotiate a bilateral agreement in Iraq before pulling out of there, because look what's happened now. We provided a haven for al-Qaeda and other terrorist groups to move back into Iraq. And if we don't negotiate an agreement with the Afghanis, then we'll see exactly the same thing. In the short run, maybe the president will gain a point in the polls, but in the long run, terrorists will strike Americans, and they will have been trained in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Well, you've just come back from Afghanistan. You have, of course, a long history dealing with intelligence and security matters in the Senate. What do you think, really, from your visit, the risk of the Taliban making big gains in Afghanistan after international forces pull out is? How strong is that risk?
Well, I think it's not is it just a risk. I think it's a fact, Katie, that if we don't maintain a significant force in Afghanistan after the drawdown, then the opportunity for the Taliban to expand, they're already there, they'll expand, the opportunity for al-Qaeda and their affiliates to expand and put training camps in place will certainly grow, as well as the ability of the Haqqani network to traverse back and forth across the Pakistani border will increase. So it's imperative that we enter into an agreement, that we provide for a significant force, as General Dunford said, a minimum of 10,000 troops to remain in Afghanistan, to ensure that the gains that we have made and the losses that we have suffered are not for naught.
The troops you spoke to when you were there last week, did they express frustration at the idea that they may have to come back before they feel the job is done?
Well, the frustration that we saw and the uncertainty, Katie, that we saw was present not only in the troops, but it certainly is, but also in the diplomatic corps, as well as in the intelligence community. Nobody knows what this president is thinking about the future of Afghanistan. He has not said what we're going to do relative to a residual force. And right now, here we are, the end of January, first part of February, and the next 11 months is going to go by in a hurry. And we need to have plans in place. The president needs to listen to his military leadership, and I hope he'll do that in the short term, so that we can provide that certainty to the military forces as well as the diplomatic corps and the intelligence community in Afghanistan today.
Senator Saxby Chambliss, thanks very much for joining the program.
Sure, good to be with you.